welcome back. As we all know, that Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry took part in the Munich ministerial meeting that is targeting sorting out the peace process inside the Middle East, also sharing in that particular formula peace process meeting with Egypt was his counterparts from Jordan, Germany and France, and also they discussed the developments inside the occupied Palestinian territories and ways to push and intensify the efforts of de-escalation of violence that is committed on the Israeli side on the Palestinian territories. And also it is well known that the explosive situation in the occupied Palestinian territories is a result of repeated incursions by Israeli occupation forces into the Palestinian cities, and the unlawful targeting of civilians represents dangerous escalation that threatens to get out of control. And with us live over the phone is Dr. Ayoub, Mohammed Ayoub, our political analyst. Good morning, Dr. Ayoub.
Good morning to you and to the viewers.
How are you doing, sir?
Alhamdulillah.
So talking about the escalation inside the Palestinian territories and the crimes that are committed by the Israeli forces and the violation of international law and all the conventions against the innocent, unarmed Palestinian civilians, what is the significance of the Munich ministerial meeting on the peace process in the Middle East?
This ministerial meeting comes at a very important moment for the conflict in the Middle East. When we say that violence breeds violence and brings more violence, this means that more casualties we will see more casualties unless the occupation forces stop their atrocities against the civil people of the Western Bank and the Gaza. What is happening now is that more violence will lead to more casualties between the occupation forces themselves and even the Israeli citizens themselves. So this is a very important meeting for the ministerial meeting for Minister of Foreign Affairs. As Mr. Sameh Shoukry has highlighted, Egypt has a clear stand in this respect that we should pacify the situation and try to release the forces of peace in this process, because more violence will lead to violence from the Palestinians, not only the Israelis. And Palestinians have a right in their own land, and that is why Jordan, Egypt, Germany, France, and lately United States have stepped in to try to pacify the situation in the Western Bank and in Gaza Strip. Gaza Strip is condensed with people, and the violence in this area brings more casualties, and which is counterproductive to the peace process in the Middle East. Egypt is playing a very important role in this respect and trying to pacify the situation and be a mediator between the two sides so that things can get better gradually. But the occupation forces should stop the rise of violence from their part against the Palestinians now.
Right. The Middle East conflict that has been going on for years and years now is continuing to claim the lives of millions of Palestinians every day. So what can Germany, France, Jordan, and on top of them is doing to ease the security situation inside the Palestinian territories, and also the role the diplomacy could be able to play in this particular context?
These five countries have a role to play, and very important. So the focal point is that Egypt is the big broker in this respect to try to pacify the situation in the Gaza, especially in the Gaza Strip, because in many cases we find that atrocities are committed against the civilian people in the Gaza Strip, and also the occupation forces are using their budget to quell any possible resistance to the occupation. It is very important that the Israelis or the occupation forces come to reason and stop their atrocities against the Palestinian people, because these people are just deprived of the basic needs of human beings, and that is why several countries are stepping in beside Egypt and Jordan, of course, and Egypt has a role to play, and that is to bring mediation efforts to conclusive results, that is stop violence against the Palestinians, and at the same time, some Hamas and so on should stop what they are doing, is launching rockets against the useless rockets, of course, and this is counterproductive as far as peace process is concerned, and you have a role to play, and it will be played successfully, inshallah. But the point is that the occupation force should be convinced that more violence will be creating more casualties in their own lines. It is very important they come to the conclusion that more violence will be more casualties from the Israeli citizens and Israeli soldiers in this part of Palestine.
Right. Our top foreign official, Foreign Minister Sameh Shokri, while addressing the meeting, he reiterated that Egypt condemns the continued Israeli occupation aggressions being a dangerous escalation in the region. How dangerous are these violations that is committed by the Israeli forces inside the Palestinian territories to the whole Middle East?
Yeah, the danger stems from the fact that violence will bring more violence, and it can spread to other parts. Not only in Palestine, but also in Lebanon, and in Jordan, and in Gaza Strip. So the violence which is created, will I say, by the Israeli forces for political gains by the Prime Minister, it is counterproductive to the whole process of peace in the Middle East. Egypt was clear in its stand, two states, and respect of the human rights of Palestinians, and any infringement in these basic needs will create violence, and it will spread inside Israel itself, and that is a big danger for all the parties concerned, and that is why Egypt is taking care that the violence should not spread outside Gaza and the Western Bank, because it will be detrimental to the peace process and the stability of the neighboring countries to Palestine.
Right. How can we intensify the international efforts and all the other concerned fronts to halt the repeated Israeli attacks and the violence against the Palestinians, and coordinate action also by regional and international partners to achieve this very dear goal?
There should be pressure, tangible pressure in Israel in this respect. Unless there is tangible pressure, not only to convince but to force peace on the minds of the Israeli leadership, things will get far worse than it is already now. The pressure comes from those who are helping Israel with ammunition and with arms and political support to stop this, and force or press Israel to come to reason and stop their aggression in the Palestinian territories, because the casualties will be high, and it can spread not only to other countries in the region, but maybe, as we have seen before, in other countries of the world as a revenge from what is happening in Palestinian occupied territories.
Right. As we know, the Munich Formula ministerial meeting consists of 4 countries, that is Germany, France, Egypt, and Jordan. And it's currently the only forum in which European and Arab partners cooperate together with regard to the Middle East conflict. How important is going to be that particular gathering towards its course to sort out or to achieve a Middle East, sustainable Middle East peace process, and how is it going to act immediately to found the situation on real ground concerning the violence?
Sustaining development, sustaining peace in this part of the world is very important and vital, not only to the Palestinians, but also to the occupation forces and the Israelis, because many people are feeling frustrated for what is happening against them without any response. And in case this violence spreads, it will be detrimental to the peace process. That is why Egypt, Jordan, France, and Germany, and maybe other international powers are playing a role, which is a very important role to press the Israelis to stop aggression against the Palestinian people in this part of the world and in their own land.
Right. Of course, all members in the Munich Formula meeting, they all want to promote a suitable peace and stability inside the region, not only in the Palestinian territory. So what is the most effective and working way to achieve that stability inside the region?
First, to stop violence. This is the first step, to stop violence and come to reason and sit down and have negotiations. It is very important to leave the ammunition and the arms and come to reason and speak face to face between Palestinians and the Israelis with the mediators like Egypt and Jordan and France and Germany and maybe other forces, because it is very important to stop violence now and begin dialogue. Dialogue is the feasible replacement to violence at this case, because more violence will be more human sufferings by the Palestinians and by the occupation forces who are trying to suppress the revolt of the Palestinians, try to deprive them of their basic needs as human beings on their own land. And that is why it is very important what is Egypt and Jordan are doing now is very important for both parties, not only for Palestinians, but also for the Israelis.
So as we all know that Germany is the incubator of this ministerial meeting, and it is holding the meeting and organizing it. It also is one of the top, or we could say the #1 economic power and political one at the same time. With this heavy weight of political importance and economic importance, what type of initiatives or power does they have on their hands to be able to interfere and effect a peaceful solution?
As you mentioned, Germany is an economic power, and they have done a lot of aid to Israelis from 1948 until yesterday. They are giving economic aid in different ways, direct and indirect. So those who give support and give assistance and are able to stipulate and are able, will I say, to dictate some new rules for the game in the Middle East to stop this. Because as far as the Israelis are not manipulated, are not pressed by the economic powers which help them, they will not come back. Germany is one of the most important countries in Europe who can play a role in this respect, and that is why Egypt is putting their hands with the Germans and the French beside the Jordanian force to try to reach conclusion or compromise between the Palestinians and Israelis who are occupying the Palestinian territory.
Right. Also, Egypt, that is represented by our top foreign diplomat, which is Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry. He, addressing the meeting, he presented Egypt's vision and Egypt's initiative to the ministerial meeting, and he talked about reaching political solutions to various crises inside the region, and he also called for immediately ending the aggression of the of the Israeli forces against the Palestinian territories. So how do you weigh the Egyptian force inside this meeting, and what could be the Egyptian initiative doing in the near future to be able to effect the expected peace requested by the Middle East? Talk to us about the Egyptian initiative.
Egyptian foreign minister has laid the grounds for a roadmap to reach conclusion and reach settlement and reach pacifying situation in this part. So clear vision is in sight as far as settlement between the Palestinians and the Israelis is concerned. And that is why Mr. Sameh Shukri has given a clear roadmap for the both parties so that we have to come together and sit down and face to face and try to stop atrocities, will I say, from both parties, not only from the Israeli party, because sometimes Hamas and other organizations fly rockets and launch rockets against the settlements, which is, by the way, in the Israeli, in Palestinian occupied territories. And so we have to ease the heat of the emotions between the Israelis and the Palestinians. Will I say in this respect that political considerations are pressing or motivating the Israeli Ministry of Defense to launch this aggression against the Palestinians in their own land.
Right. Also, Minister Sameh Shukri talked about, again, reminded the people who were gathering there, he talked about the two-state solution and the importance of effecting the two-state solution between both sides. Not only Egypt is talking about the two-state solution, all the concerned international community efforts is trying to push the two-state solution, which is the only means.
Yes, please.
Right, if you could briefly talk to us about it, because we only have like 2 seconds left.
Egypt has laid down a roadmap which is tangible and feasible and can be implemented on the ground if the two parties come to conclusion and consensus that peace is possible in this part of the world.
Right. Right. Mr. Ayoub, Mohammed Ayoub, would like to thank you very much, our political analyst, and you have a beautiful day. We're going to go to a short break and we'll come to continue the breakfast show, so stay with us.